The human exploration vessel Odyssey drifted through the silence of deep space. Its engines hummed softly, the only sound inside a ship built for journeys across empty black voids. The crew had grown used to quiet days. They scanned star systems, recorded planets, and sent data back to Earth. It was not a warship, but a vessel of discovery. Captain Elias Ward stood on the bridge, gazing at the shifting lights of distant stars. He was a calm man, older than most of his crew, with steady eyes that had seen both battles and long nights of peace. His crew respected him not because he demanded it, but because he carried himself with quiet strength. The day began like any other until the ship's communication officer, Lieutenant Mara Vey, frowned at her console. She leaned closer, adjusting controls, her brow tightening. "Captain," she called, "I'm picking up something strange." "A signal," Ward turned. "Coordinates?" She shook her head. "That's the problem. It's fragmented. It doesn't look like standard comm traffic. It's weak, scattered, almost broken." The bridge grew tense. Signals in deep space were never ignored. Sometimes they were echoes of dying stars, sometimes transmissions from lost probes. But sometimes they were cries for help. "Let's hear it," Ward said. Mara pressed a key. At once the bridge filled with static, a harsh hiss of distortion. For a moment it sounded like nothing but noise. Then faint beneath the static came something else. A voice. It was soft, trembling, not quite human. The words broke apart, stretched and shattered like light through cracked glass. "Can you understand me?" The crew froze. Another pause, then again, slightly clearer. "No one has ever reached me." Mara's hands shook slightly as she muted the feed. The bridge was silent except for the low hum of engines. "That," whispered Chief Engineer Jonas Hale, "wasn't human." Ward's eyes narrowed. "Can you locate the source?" "Trying," Mara replied quickly. Her fingers danced across controls. "The signal is old." Fragments bounced across debris fields. "But yes, I've got a trail." "A derelict ship drifting beyond the broken Starlight Nebula?" Jonas grunted. "That's graveyard space. Ships go in, nothing comes out. Radiation storms, unstable fields. If she's still alive out there, it's a miracle." Ward studied the star map. The nebula swirled on the screen, a cloud of faint blue and silver. It was beautiful and dangerous, the kind of place most captains avoided. But there was no hesitation in his voice when he spoke. "Plot a course. We're going in." The journey took 3 days. During that time, the crew could not stop thinking about the voice. They replayed it again and again, each time hearing something new. Fear, pain, loneliness. Jonas sat in the mess hall with Mara one evening. He had a small recorder in his hand, replaying the words. "Listen," he said, "the way she says it. She's not broadcasting coordinates. She's not asking for help in a standard way. She's just confessing." "Confessing what?" Mara asked. "That she's alone," Jonas muttered. "That no one reached her. Maybe she gave up hope a long time ago." Mara shivered. "And now we're the ones who heard her." On the 3rd day, the Odyssey emerged from hyperspace. The broken Starlight Nebula filled the view screen, a storm of glittering dust clouds and shifting colors. Inside the haze, faint shadows of wreckage floated, ships broken, twisted, forgotten. "There," Mara pointed. Her screen lit up. Faint energy signature. Small vessel, barely holding together. Ward leaned forward. "Magnify." The image grew. A single alien ship drifted in the dark. Its hull was torn, scarred by weapons fire. Large sections were open to vacuum. Yet deep inside, a dim glow pulsed, weak but steady. "That's her," Jonas said softly. Ward straightened. "Prepare a boarding team. Get medical ready. If someone's alive in there, we're not leaving them behind." The human shuttle cut through the nebula, guided by faint beacons. Inside, the boarding team wore suits, their helmets reflecting pale starlight. The wreck loomed larger, its twisted metal like the bones of some fallen beast. They entered through a broken hangar bay. The silence inside was heavy, broken only by the sound of their own breathing. Debris floated past, fragments of consoles, shattered glass, a child's toy drifting weightless. "Life signs?" Ward's voice came through the comm. Jonas scanned. "One. Faint. Deep inside." They pushed deeper into the ruined corridors. The walls bore scorch marks. The airlocks had been blasted. This was no accident. This ship had been hunted, torn apart in battle. Finally, they reached a chamber sealed by a heavy door. Jonas worked the controls, sparks flying as he bypassed alien systems. The door slid open with a groan. Inside, in the center of the room, stood a stasis pod. Its glass was cracked, frost clinging to its edges. Inside lay a figure, a woman, alien yet strikingly familiar in shape. Her skin shimmered faintly with pale blue tones and her features were delicate, almost fragile. Her chest rose and fell weakly. Her eyes flickered open as the humans entered. She gasped, her lips trembling. Her voice was weak but clear enough for all of them to hear. "Can you understand? Me first? No one has ever reached me." The words broke their hearts. Ward stepped forward, placing his hand against the glass of the pod. His voice was steady, filled with quiet promise. "We hear you," he said. "You're not alone anymore." Her gaze locked onto his, a flicker of hope passing through eyes that had known only despair. Then, with a faint sigh, she collapsed back into the pod, unconscious but alive. "Get her to the Odyssey," Ward ordered. "Now." As the crew worked quickly to move her, Mara whispered softly, "We found her. After all this time, we reached her." The shuttle pulled away from the wreck, carrying the survivor of Broken Starlight toward the waiting human ship. But none of them knew that saving her would change everything. For her, for them, and for the entire galaxy. The shuttle carrying the alien woman docked smoothly with the Odyssey. The crew moved quickly, their boots clanging against the metal floor as they guided the cracked stasis pod through the docking bay. Every eye followed them. They had all heard the broken voice, all felt the weight of her words. Now they saw her with their own eyes, pale and fragile, a living being from a people none of them had ever met. Captain Ward stood near the medical bay doors, waiting. His expression was calm, but his hands were clenched behind his back. He knew how rare this was. Out in the vast galaxy, true encounters with alien survivors were almost impossible. Often only wreckage remained. But here was someone still breathing. Dr. Lin, the ship's medic, motioned for the pod to be brought inside. "Keep her stable," she ordered. "Power levels are failing on this thing. We transfer her to our systems immediately." The crew worked fast. Jonas connected human life support units to the alien pod, sparks jumping as he bridged the two different technologies. For a moment alarms blared, but then the readings stabilized. The alien woman's chest rose with a steadier rhythm. "She's holding," Dr. Lin said, relief in her voice. The crew let out a collective breath. Hours passed as Dr. Lin examined the survivor. She was placed in the medical chamber, resting under soft lights. Tubes ran into her arms, machines translating the strange signals of her body into data the humans could understand. Ward entered quietly, standing at her bedside. Her skin shimmered faintly under the light, a pattern of tiny glowing specks across her arms. Her breathing was shallow but steadier now. Dr. Lin approached the captain. "Her biology is close enough to ours that our systems can sustain her. She's weak, malnourished, and her body shows signs of long stasis exposure. But she will live." Ward nodded. "And communication?" "That's more difficult," Dr. Lin admitted. "Her vocal structure is similar to ours, but her words, they don't align with our languages. It's broken, like the signal we received." Jonas stepped in from the doorway, wiping grease from his hands. "I can work on the tech side. If her pod had memory banks, maybe I can pull fragments of her language for translation." "Do it," Ward said. Then, after a pause, he added, "But be careful. We don't know what she's been through. She may not trust us." Later, when most of the crew had gone, Ward remained. He sat beside her, silent for a long while. He studied her face, so different yet strangely familiar. She stirred, her eyes fluttering open. They were bright, reflecting faint silver light. Her lips moved. The words came slowly, halting, broken. "Who are you?" Ward leaned forward, his voice steady. "Elias Ward, Captain Human." She blinked, struggling to understand. Her voice trembled as she whispered, "Human, first." She paused, her throat tightening as though each word cost her strength. "No one ever came," Ward nodded gently. "But we came. You're safe now." Tears gathered in the corners of her eyes. For a moment, her hand lifted weakly, brushing against the sheet. Ward placed his own hand nearby, not touching, but letting her see he meant no harm. Her voice cracked again. "You hear me?" "Yes," he said softly. "We hear you." Her breathing slowed again as she drifted back into unconsciousness, but her lips curved slightly, as if comforted for the first time in years. In the following days, the crew worked to bridge the communication gap. Jonas spent long hours in engineering, pulling fragments of alien data from the damaged pod. Each piece gave hints, a sound, a phrase, an image of symbols. Mara joined him, helping to align the fragments with human language. Together, they began building a translation model. It was slow work, like piecing together a shattered mirror. During one session, Mara leaned back in frustration. Every time we make progress, the data breaks into something else. It's like her language isn't. The Odyssey drifted gently through the broken Starlight Nebula, the pale blue clouds of gas swirling past its hull. Inside, the ship was alive with a quiet energy. The alien woman, who had now begun to respond to the humans in small ways, moved slowly along the corridors, supported by Jonas or Dr. Lin when necessary. Her name, they had learned, was Elira. It had taken hours, then days of patient gestures and symbol charts, but the moment she said it aloud, the crew felt a sense of connection. It was as though giving her a name gave her a place among them. Captain Ward observed her from the bridge. She was seated in the observation lounge now, her gaze fixed on the swirling colors of the nebula outside. There was a distant sadness in her eyes and yet a spark of curiosity, too. Ward had seen that look before, the moment someone realizes they are no longer completely alone. Can she understand our language yet? Mara asked, standing beside him. She held a small tablet loaded with the latest translation progress. Ward shook his head slowly. Not fully, but she's learning. Every day a little more. Jonas leaned against the railing. She's smart. Way smarter than we first thought. Even fractured, her speech patterns are complex. Her mind works differently, but it works fast. Mara nodded. We just need patience. And time. In the medical bay, Elira tried speaking with Dr. Lin. Her words were slow, broken, each syllable pronounced with care. Alone so long, she said softly. No, one? Come, me. Dr. Lin nodded. Yes, we know, Elira. But you are not alone now. We are here. Elira's eyes shimmered, a faint glow reflecting the medical lights. She moved her hand weakly, touching Dr. Lin's arm. Her voice broke again. Trust. Hard. Lost. Dr. Lin squeezed her hand gently. I know, but you can trust us. We will protect you. For hours they worked together, practicing simple phrases. Sometimes Elira would smile faintly when she succeeded in saying a word correctly. Sometimes she would frown, frustrated when she could not. Yet even in frustration, she tried again. The crew watched, amazed at her determination. Jonas had begun experimenting with her technology. He connected small consoles to her systems, and for the first time the pod's ancient AI began to respond. Strange symbols lit the screens, forming words that Jonas could not read. He paused, realizing that this was not just data, it was communication. Elira watched him closely. Slowly, she raised her hand and touched the panel. A series of lights blinked, shifting symbols into a pattern that Jonas could understand. She's teaching us, he murmured to Mara. Her mind is wired to translate the unknown. She wants to communicate. Mara leaned over the console. It's like she's giving us the key. The puzzle pieces were never meant to be found alone. We need her and she needs us. Days passed. The translation model grew more accurate. The humans and Elira developed a system of gestures, symbols, and sounds. It was imperfect, but it worked. Slowly, she began sharing fragments of her story. Home, destroyed, she said one morning in the medbay. Council, betray people. Ward listened carefully. The Galactic Council, an organization governing multiple star systems, had betrayed her people. She paused, trembling, before continuing. Ship, alone. Drift, lost. Hope. Jonas frowned. So she's been floating out there for years? Mara nodded. And no one tried to reach her. Until now. Elira looked at them with wide eyes, her gaze lingering on Captain Ward. She whispered brokenly, You first to reach me. Ward's chest tightened. We're here, he said softly. We are here. Elira's hand lifted, hovering over a small console. Her touch activated a holographic map of her star system. Images of planets, moons, and the ships of her people flickered across the room. Gone, she said simply. All gone. The room fell silent. The weight of her loss settled over the crew. Yet even in the silence there was a strange sense of purpose. She had survived. She had been found. And now she was speaking, teaching them what had happened. While the humans worked to understand her, Elira was learning about them. She observed their routines, the way they moved through the ship, their gestures and expressions. She asked questions, sometimes simply pointing at a device or a tool and asking its name, sometimes staring at a map of the galaxy and asking about their home. Ward and Mara explained as best they could. Earth, Ward said, pointing to a small blue planet on the holographic map. This is our home. We live there. Elira's eyes widened. She repeated the word slowly. Earth, home. She paused, then whispered, safe? Ward smiled gently. Safe for now. But space is never completely safe. She nodded, understanding the truth in his words. She looked at the humans with a mixture of awe and cautious hope. One evening, while the nebula glowed outside the observation windows, Elira spoke of her people. Words came slowly, broken, but her meaning was clear. People, bright, kind, music, light, share. She paused. Counsel, fear, take, away. Mara asked carefully. Why would the council fear your people? Elira's eyes grew distant. Strong, think. Too far, others. Weak, envy. Destroy. Jonas frowned. So they destroyed her home because they were afraid of her people's power. Elira's voice broke again. Yes. Alone, lost. No one. Listen. Ward stepped closer, his voice steady. But now we are listening. You are not alone anymore. She looked at him, and for a long moment the silence was filled with understanding. She did not have the words for all she felt, but she knew they cared. That knowledge reached her where words could not, but not all news was good. Sensors aboard the Odyssey picked up a faint signal on the outskirts of the nebula. It was irregular but deliberate, a probe, a ship, or worse. Mara alerted Ward immediately. Captain, something is moving at the edge of the nebula. I don't know what it is, but it's scanning us. Ward nodded, his expression grim. Keep it under observation. Do not engage unless necessary. Right now our priority is her safety. Jonas stepped in. Captain, whoever destroyed her ship, they may still be looking for her. She's not just a survivor. She's a target, Ward's jaw tightened. Then we will protect her. No one threatens someone under my watch. That night, Elira sat quietly in the med bay. Her hand hovered over one of the consoles. She touched it gently, and a faint blue light shimmered across her skin. The ship's systems hummed in response, connecting in ways the humans could not fully understand. Jonas watched, amazed. She's not just learning. She's interacting with the ship itself, Mara whispered. She's helping us. She wants to communicate, and she's showing us how. Ward stood at the doorway looking at her. You've been alone for so long, Elira, but no longer. We will learn together. We will protect you, and you will teach us too. Elira looked at him, her eyes shimmering with something between hope and relief. For the first time in what felt like forever, she allowed herself to believe she could survive. Learn, together, she whispered, her voice soft but firm. Ward nodded. Yes, together. Outside, the nebula swirled, silent and beautiful. Inside the Odyssey, a broken voice had begun to speak. And for the first time it was being heard, but beyond the stars, distant shadows watched. Elira's enemies had not forgotten. The humans would soon learn that understanding her came with a danger greater than any they had faced before. The nebula outside the Odyssey shimmered like a veil of glass, soft blue light illuminating the corridors. Inside, the atmosphere was tense. The crew had grown used to Elira's presence, yet each day revealed more of the complexity of her story. Slowly, piece by piece, she was revealing the truth of what had happened to her people. Captain Ward stood in the observation lounge, looking out at the swirling colors. Mara and Jonas were nearby, monitoring the ship's sensors. Elira had been unusually quiet that day, her eyes focused on the nebula as if searching for something lost in the stars. Captain, Mara said softly. She wants to speak. I think she's ready to tell us more, Ward nodded. Let her. We'll listen. Elira's hands trembled slightly as she touched the railing, her eyes meeting Ward's. She spoke slowly, each word fractured, but filled with meaning. People, strong, bright, share, good, help, everyone. Mara smiled faintly. She's speaking in fragments, but the meaning is clear. Her people were kind and powerful. Elira continued, her voice trembling. Counsel, fear, power, take, destroy. My home. Ward's expression darkened. The Galactic Council? They betrayed your people? She nodded weakly. Her hands clutched the railing tighter. Yes. Betray? No. Warning, die! Jonas stepped closer, examining the holographic images of her star system she had been projecting. So the Council didn't just attack. They planned it. They destroyed your world, Illyra's voice broke. Yes, alone. Drift, lost. No one. Listen. Ward took a step toward her. But now we are listening. We are here. You are not alone anymore. Her eyes shone, glimmering like stars. For the first time there was something more than fear and sadness, there was trust. Over the next hours, Illyra shared more details. Each fragment of speech told a story of betrayal and loss. Her people had been explorers and scholars, always seeking to share knowledge and help others. But the Galactic Council had feared their growth and influence. They see power, threat, council, jealousy, destroy, she whispered. Ships, fire, planet, burn, people. Gone. Jonas's jaw tightened. They wiped out her entire civilization. That's terrible. Mara placed a hand on his arm. She survived. She's here. That's what matters now. Illyra's voice grew quieter. I drift. Alone. Hope. Gone. Ward knelt beside her, his voice. The Odyssey floated silently in the broken Starlight Nebula, its hull glowing faintly from the soft nebula light. But the calm was an illusion. Sensors had detected the approaching fleet, the ships of Illyra's pursuers. Their engines left faint trails in the gas clouds, precise and deliberate. The humans knew that they were being hunted. Captain Ward stood on the bridge, his hands resting lightly on the console. The crew moved efficiently, preparing defensive systems and emergency protocols. Every display showed incoming threats, but none showed the full scale. The enemy had not yet revealed its numbers. Jonas worked in engineering, adjusting the ship's systems. If we can integrate Illyra's technology fully, he said, we might just have a chance. But it's risky. Her ship's systems aren't designed for combat like ours. Mara nodded from the bridge. If anyone can do it, Jonas, it's you. But we also need Illyra's help. Illyra sat in the medbay, fragile and tense. She had spent days helping the humans understand her technology, and now they needed her more than ever. Her voice, once broken and faint, had become stronger. Yet she was still cautious. Ward approached her. Illyra, they're coming. We need you to guide us. Will you help? She looked at him, eyes wide and resolute. Slowly she nodded. Yes. Together, fight, protect. In engineering, Jonas began the integration. He connected Illyra's control systems to the Odyssey's hull and energy conduits. Sparks flew and soft blue light spread across the room. The ship hummed, responding to her presence. It was alive in a way the humans had never imagined. Focus, Illyra whispered, her fingers brushing over the alien console. Energy, flow, light, shield, awake. Jonas's hands moved quickly, following her directions. The ship's shields glimmered in the nebula light, stronger than before. The main weapon systems pulsed with energy, ready to fire in synchronization with Illyra's commands. She glanced at him. Together. Control. Yes, Jonas said. We control as one. On the bridge, Mara observed the approaching fleet. They're closer now, she reported. Too close for simple evasive maneuvers. They'll strike soon. Ward took a deep breath. Prepare all decks for emergency. Medical, engineering, navigation, everyone. And get Illyra to the bridge when she's ready. Illyra entered the bridge, moving cautiously. She studied the enemy ships on the holographic display, her glowing eyes reflecting fear and determination. They, many, strong, but not same, she whispered. We fight. Ward nodded. We fight together. We protect you, and we will not let them take you. The first attack came quickly. A bright streak of energy cut through the nebula, striking the outer hull of the Odyssey. Alarms blared, lights flickered, and the ship rocked under the impact. Shields holding, Jonas shouted, adjusting the energy flow. But they'll try again. Illyra touched the console beside her. Blue lines of light flowed from her fingertips, connecting with the ship's systems. The shield shimmered brighter, bending and redirecting energy from the attack. Mara turned to Ward, eyes wide. She's doing it. She's controlling the ship's defense systems. Ward gritted his teeth. Good, keep it up. We're not giving them a single victory. The enemy ships fired again, relentless and precise. The Odyssey weaved through the nebula clouds, using Illyra's technology to anticipate attacks and strengthen its shields. The humans realized they had never faced anything like this, yet with her help, they were holding their own. In engineering, Jonas guided the ship's weapons to sync with Illyra's commands. "Energy levels stable," he said, voice tense. "Weapons ready to fire when she directs." Illyra's hands moved over the alien interface. Her voice was calm but firm. "Strike. Shadows. Light. Protect." The Odyssey responded. A beam of concentrated energy erupted from the forward weapons, cutting through the nebula mist and striking the nearest enemy vessel. It shattered under the combined force, explosions lighting up the nebula. Mara's eyes widened. They weren't expecting that. "We actually hit them." Illyra's lips curved slightly. "Yes, and together. Strong." Ward nodded, a rare smile breaking his stern expression. "We are stronger because of her," he whispered to himself. The battle intensified. The enemy fleet regrouped, firing multiple attacks from different directions. The Odyssey rolled and twisted, shields shimmering and energy beams firing. Every move relied on the synergy between Illyra and the human crew. In the medbay, Dr. Lin monitored Illyra's condition. "She's pushing herself," she said. "The strain on her is immense. She's not built for prolonged combat like this." Ward, listening on the intercom, responded quickly. "Keep monitoring her. She's the key, but we won't let her burn herself out. Jonas, find ways to redistribute energy without overloading her systems." Jonas nodded. "Working on it. We'll balance it." Amid the chaos, Illyra revealed more of her abilities. With her guidance, the ship's energy flowed through unusual patterns, creating temporary shields around vulnerable sections of the hull, and even launching concentrated attacks that disrupted the enemy's coordination. "Light, strike, overwhelm. Confusion," she whispered, voice steady now. The humans watched in awe. The ship was alive in ways they had never imagined, bending technology and energy to a will that was not fully human, yet now fused with human ingenuity. Mara leaned close to Ward. "Captain, she's not just helping us survive. She's showing us something we've never seen in space warfare. This could change everything." Ward's jaw tightened. "And if we survive this, the galaxy will never underestimate humans or our allies again." The enemy leader, realizing his fleet was being disrupted, issued a communication, the voice distorted and cold. "Human vessel, surrender the alien survivor, or your worlds will burn." Ward stood tall. His voice rang clear across the ship's comm. "No, she is under our protection. You will not touch her." Illyra looked at him, eyes wide. She whispered, almost in awe, "Human. Brave and first. Protect." Ward met her gaze. "We will protect you. Always." With renewed determination, the Odyssey struck back. The combined human and Illyra technology overwhelmed the enemy fleet, scattering several ships and forcing others to retreat into the nebula. Jonas wiped sweat from his forehead. "I can't believe it." "We actually did it." Mara smiled faintly. "We did it together. Human and Illyra. We're stronger than we knew." Illyra looked at them, her voice soft but steady. "Together, survive. Hope. Not lost," Ward nodded. "Hope is never lost when we stand together." As the nebula settled back into quiet, the crew realized the magnitude of what had happened. They had not only survived, they had proven that humans working with courage and empathy could face impossible odds. And Illyra, once a broken voice in the void, had become a vital part of their crew and their fight. But even in this victory, shadows lingered. The enemy fleet had retreated, but they had not given up. The Odyssey and its crew would soon face decisions that could shape the future of Illyra, her people's legacy, and humanity's place in the galaxy. Inside the ship, Illyra stood beside Ward on the bridge. Her hands trembled slightly, but her eyes shone bright. "Thank you. Reach me," she whispered. Ward placed a hand lightly on the console, watching the nebula swirl. "No," he said. "You reached us, and together, we awaken the strength of broken starlight." The crew exchanged quiet smiles, a bond forged in survival and trust. They had learned something vital. Understanding, empathy, and courage could turn even a broken voice into a force that could change the galaxy. And the story of broken starlight was far from over. The nebula glowed softly around the Odyssey, but the calm was deceptive. Though the enemy fleet had retreated, their presence still lingered like a shadow across the stars. The crew worked tirelessly to repair the ship, recalibrate shields, and integrate Illyra's systems fully. Every panel, every console now reflected a perfect harmony between human and alien technology. Captain Ward stood on the bridge, observing Elira as she floated beside him, fingers brushing over the alien interface. Her skin shimmered faintly with soft blue light, pulsing in rhythm with the ship. She had become more than a survivor. She was now the heart of the vessel, guiding it in ways the humans had never imagined. Elira turned toward him, her eyes reflecting the nebula outside. "We ready?" she asked, voice steady, broken, yet confident. Ward nodded. "Yes, if the enemy comes back, we fight. And if they try to threaten you, they will regret it." In engineering, Jonas worked with Mara and Dr. Lin to distribute energy evenly across the ship. Elira's guidance allowed them to boost shields without overloading any systems. Weapons were synchronized to her commands, creating a system that combined human tactics and alien energy manipulation. Jonas paused, staring at the readings.
"Captain."
"This is incredible. We can anticipate attacks before they happen. Her systems predict energy flows, shield weaknesses. It's like she's reading the battlefield in real time." Mara nodded. "And she trusts us to act on it." "That's why it works," Dr. Lin added quietly. "It's more than trust. It's bond. Human and alien working together. That bond is what makes this ship, this crew, strong." Ward glanced at Elira. "Do you see it too?" She nodded faintly, eyes glowing softly. "Together, strong, survive, hope." But the quiet did not last. A faint signal flickered on the sensors, distant but unmistakable. The enemy had returned, and this time they brought reinforcements. Hundreds of small, fast ships were moving through the nebula, their formation precise and deadly. Mara's voice was tense. "Captain, they're coming faster than before. They're